on.
Right. Well, a little bit different, but I wanted you, a lot of you are in, well, not a lot of you, but some of you are interested in iridology. It's a proven science and it works. But what do we need to help us do this? Now, the old way was use like a 10 plus magnifying glass and a penlight torch. This can be a great strain on the person, and it can be a great strain on the person reading as well as your patient. So we take this a step further. Some of you might have one of these, just a small digital camera, but this one has got macro.
Most of them have macro now.
Yeah, they do. So if you've got macro, it means you can zoom in just on the eye, never mind the outside of the eye, you just want the actual eye itself.
And if anyone has a DSLR like John Spiritwolf would have, and he has a macro lens, he could get a friend to take his eye with the macro lens. That would bring it in really close detail.
Yeah, but we don't want the outside, we just want the eye itself. So you cannot do this by holding it in your hand. I wouldn't advise it. So we come to number 2. This is a mini tripod. Perfect device. Lock your camera on, make sure this mini tripod is locked on the table. And then the camera is dead still. Otherwise you could have, you might shake the camera slightly, you've got to get a clear reading. So the camera's got to be on a tripod of some kind.
And you should set it on a timer as well.
Set it on a what?
You set the shot so it's on a timer, and then eye your position, like say, give it 10 seconds, and then eye your eye to the lens and stuff.
Yeah. Now, most of the family here use SLRs.
DSLRs.
Yeah, big cameras.
Big camera. Yeah.
So, I use this little baby. Excuse me. It's easy to use. You get the perfect shot. Then what do? I'll tell you what you do. Your next step is to go into your computer, put your lead on, download the picture onto your computer and enlarge it. Once that's done, you can now analyze the problems that are in the iris. Now, that is the easiest way of doing it. So I know most of you have got these little cameras, and that's only, what, 3 megapixel camera, which is quite good enough for what we want. Now, we're going to zoom in. I've got this set up on my computer, and this is the chart. Now, you've got the chart on your site. All you have to do is double click in it and get it up to full screen. Are you in?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is for Shadow Dancer and a few others. So get out your pens and pencils, your compasses and all the rest of your gizmos. Let's do some work here. Here is what we're concentrating. Think about a clock, 12 o'clock. What's that give us? Well, at 12 o'clock, it's dealing mainly with the brain. With me, I don't have to worry about 12 o'clock because I ain't got anything there to worry about.
I'd agree with you there.
Thank you. And around here is dealing with the brain and various different things. You'll notice left and right is opposites. It's like looking in a mirror. 3 o'clock.
That's
Here. Thyroid, trachea, scapula. That's here. But if we go in, we get heart, lungs. Here, 4 o'clock. The spine. Here, reproductive organs, kidneys, so on and so forth. The closer you get to here is the internal organs. Mostly out here is skeletal structure. Now, one of you mentioned a white rim around here. Cholesterol rim, my friends. Now, this will not identify disease as much, but it will. What it does tell you is there is a weakness in that area, and if there is a weakness in that area, then iridology can then point out how this can be sorted out. So,
do you want me to zoom back onto your?
Yeah, you can bring it back onto me again. So by using technology that we have, we don't have to go to these massive iriscopes at all. That is not necessary. I mean, you only need basics. And most of you are using a computer, otherwise you couldn't be listening to me drivelling on now, could you? So, if you have any questions, then relate them to me. I don't know if any of you have done the little test that I wrote down on the site, but let me know your opinions. I've got to be able to know where you're at, I've got to have feedback from you. So you've got questions, ask them. If you don't ask questions, then it's going to make things very complicated and very clinical. I want to keep this not as much like a clinical of a teacher teaching students. You're all intelligent people. We're all one. We want to keep this on a friendly discussion basis. That way we can learn far more. How long have I got?
Just under 7 minutes.
I've got under 7 minutes. Okay. So now you have your instruments. What am I doing with that? Wrong instrument. Whoops. So, these are your instruments for getting the iris. Now to analyze. One, you'll need one of these charts, which I've already given you. It's on site. As we go along, I'll be giving you various irises to look at, and you can tell me what's wrong with a person. But this is much later. Let's learn to crawl before we can start running. There's a lot involved. It is a long process. It's a long learning curve, but well worth it if this is what you're interested in. I am amazed of a couple of you are really, you're in as soon as, near enough, as soon as I put in details, you're in like a rocket. This is lovely. This is really nice. Who am I referring to? Bloom, Gypsy. Yeah, you're fabulous. Just enjoy it. This is, it's not life and death. Well, not yet anyway. It's not, it's not life and death. It's something to study, to enjoy what you're doing. This is a new science that is being developed. In Europe there are over 20,000 iridologists. There's a lot of iridologists over here and in England, and they do a fabulous job. Also later it'll tell you things to avoid and cures for various things and to improve your living standard. This will be done as well. Now, there's a couple of things, if I could reach it. Couple of references, if you can get them. There's a book called Irodology, and it's by Dorothy Hall, and that's the book.
Let me zoom in on that.
Now, this will help you. There's also another one by Jackson, which is called Practical Irodology, which is that one.
That one is very good.
This is excellent. And any of you, if you can get this, library or anywhere, then go for it, because this is an outstanding book. There are many expensive books on the market on iridology, costing literally hundreds to buy, hundreds of dollars to buy. Now, since we're doing this as a fun thing as well as a practical thing, I don't advise you to go for these super expensive books. I've given you one manual online. Well, I've given you a couple, I think. That's all you need, really, to start with. Look at these, read them, study them. But most of all, start using your camera. Photograph the iris. Do it with your family. And then see where their weaknesses are. And don't question them. Once you've worked out where the weaknesses are, then you can turn around and say, right, I've done that, now I will confront them and ask them whether there's trouble in certain areas, or whether they have problems with certain areas. You'll be surprised at the answer. Well, that's it for this lecture. Well, it isn't a lecture really, it's just a discussion. Enjoy it, because that's what we have to do. Just enjoy what you're doing. Thank you for listening to me. Until I give you another little discussion, that will be it. But come on back with your answers and your questions. Bye for now.